News at 10.
Tonight, CBS 42 presents part 2 of a special report on the national gun violence epidemic.
And the local effect on all of these moms. The women you see here joined us for a CBS 42 community conversation as we examine gun violence through the eyes of mothers whose sons have died as a result of violence. We learned really, Ben, no matter how their children died, the pain is the same.
Murder, the unlawful killing of another person. Homicide, a killing of one human being by another.
How do you overcome violence?
These women whose sons died by homicide joined me in our CBS 42 studios for a community conversation on gun violence.
I wish this on no parent.
And a mother's burden of loss.
It's not fair.
Felicia Morgan's son, Sanquez, was killed in 2019. Katrina Marks Gary's son, Derek Marks Jr., was killed in 2020.
He was ambushed and murdered by his friends on February 25th of 2020.
Her son, Delquan McNeely, died the same day. They were friends.
He was shot 5 times in the back.
Mothers in a difficult place they did not choose.
Some of these women in just the sisterhood, we have responded.
Her son, Calvin Arthur Foster, was killed in 2016.
It's been hard, but I have to be good because I have 2 other kids. I lost 3 to gun violence.
Theda Johnson's loss is unfathomable.
Kobe Powell, Emmanuel Powell, and Rodriguez Powell.
This is where Rodriguez was shot in broad daylight on September 3rd, 2022. And this is where Twala Ollison's son Travio was shot and killed on April 5th, 2021.
My son was just taken away from me, no courts. They justified my baby, you know, and just like swept him up under the rug like he wasn't nothing.
All of them sad, some understandably mad. Cherie Moore Burrell's son, Tenarius Moore Sr., was shot and killed in 2017. Then,
2 years later, his firstborn, 5 years old, was murdered, shot in the back of the head.
the death of her grandson struck a nerve in the community. This is one of the vigils CBS 42 covered for the little boy we came to know as TJ.
I am the mother of Emantic Bradford Jr.
We knew him as EJ.
The 22nd, 2018.
His death made national news. Since 2018, there's been an increase in firearm-related homicides in Jefferson County every year. In 2021, the county coroner recorded 200. In neighboring Shelby County, there were 8. Zip codes seem to matter, but these mothers want to change that in the names of their children.
Detrayo Deshaun Horton, he was killed.
Cherie Kennan is the co-founder of What About Us, a support group for parents whose children have been killed as a result of violence. As we examine the ripple effect of gun violence in our community, we asked, and the group agreed, to write a collective letter for our CBS 42 digital project, Letters from Moms of Murdered Sons.
From What About Us, from the mothers. Can you please read it?
The impact of gun violence in the communities of Birmingham, Alabama.
The group letter reads in part, it takes a village of people working together in an effort to prevent further acts of violence in our communities. It goes on to say,
we are also speaking to the schools about the conflicts that goes on. And now that we're in the communities where people are trying to go into the schools and change the output, because it's very hard to keep watching a child, our loved ones, keep dying.
Akita Jemison's son, Kavas, attended Jackson Olin High School.
He was the 74th homicide of Birmingham. He left home going to a barbecue in Pratt City. Later on, he was discovered by police on the side of the road. I want to see justice served.
So does Karen Nathan. Her son, Stanley Hobson Jr., was killed in the doorway of his apartment on May 25th, 2021.
Somebody come to your door and say, it's your child. You don't expect that.
A significant portion of our conversation on gun violence was about solutions. Katrina Carey wanted tougher laws to address people with repeated violent acts against others.
So if they're not holding these people in and they're repeat offenders, this boy killed 7 people before he murdered my son, and he was out.
The health department has now a $1 million grant to treat gun violence as a public health epidemic, to study it, to figure out what these causes are, and to treat it.
You can't sit around and assess something if you're not in that environment. Why not take some of this grant money? Why not put a house in every hood so we can see the needs of the kids? Maybe you're not getting your meals, you're not getting clean clothes, you're not getting everything else the other boys in the neighborhood has. That's what's causing a lot of conflict as well.
We need to collectively ask the mayor, the senators, what is your vision for our children?